Yo, welcome to my Summer Lair. I'm Sammy. Got my wanted poster hung up in the post office, Younan. So, you first met Andrew Farriss back on October 13, 1980, with INXS's self-titled debut album. By 1987, that fantastic album, Kick, Andrew Farriss was the principal songwriter along with Magnetic frontman Michael Hutchence. I can't even put into words, INXS has been a wild ride, a truly great band with truly great songs. Unfortunately, no matter how fun the roller coaster ride is, it comes to an end. Thankfully, Andrew Farriss has returned with a new ride, and it's a country EP and LP. Country? Yes, country. Trains are a-comin', arrows flying through the air, horses, outlaws. This is country, like Wild West movies, not like jukebox country songs about pickup trucks and cheating wives. Oh, outlaws. I can do that. I can get behind outlaws. This is amazing. The EP is Love Makes the World, released on October 2nd, 2020, and the LP is self-titled. Launching from track 7, the sublime song Apache Pass finds Andrew singing about Geronimo. I don't know why, but Geronimo was something we yell out when we're taking a large leap. Based on that, I tease him, are you ready to yell Geronimo as you take the leap to being a frontman and principal songwriter? When you look back at those early INXS videos, dude's hidden in the corner there, mostly behind the keyboards. Now there's no more Michael Hutchence with his simmering heat. Andrew is front and center in all the recently released videos. And he's going to be doing some upcoming shows. Geronimo for true. Listening to the LP, it inspired me and I wrote a haiku review. This is it. Guns, gangs, INXS. The freedom of the outlaw. Yo, Geronimo. Welcome, Andrew Farriss, to my Summer Lair.
1,000,000 miles an hour, flying to the sun, chasing down forever. Run, baby, run. Yeah. For the movers, shakers, troublemakers, turning up the night. For the young and wild, the inner child that's always been alive. Run, baby, run. Run, baby, run. For the lost and disillusioned, living on the edge. Are you part of the solution? We're stuck inside your head. Ooh. For the movers, shakers, troublemakers, turning up the night. For the young and wild, the inner child that's always been alive. Run, baby, run. Run, baby, run.
Hello, Andrew.
Hey, Sammy.
Yes. How's it going? I'm just adjusting the levels. Thank you so much for taking some time to talk about the album and your new music.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. How are you? What's happening?
I'm in Toronto, so we are just finally coming out of lockdown, and I think we can kind of get out a little bit and kind of like meet people and be in the same room. It's nobody's done anything, so nobody has any small talk anymore, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And, well, we're kind of the same here. I'm in Australia, and we haven't been able to tour or play live or, I mean, social distancing is obviously, for health reasons, incredibly important. But if you're an entertainer, it's like a kind of sentence, like you just can't work.
Yeah, it is. It's got to be strange. I mean, because you just put out this album, and normally you would tour it or do some shows, and I know you have shows coming up, hopefully in April or May. But like generally, like it kind of disrupts your whole rhythm and your whole process because now you put out this thing, and then like how do you promote it? What do you do with it?
Exactly. Well, at the moment, I am about to head out. I'm literally rehearsing over the next 2 or 3 days at my farm studio to do an album launch on the 19th of March for when my official, international release of my album is.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I'm rehearsing with some musicians that are turning up and just thinking to myself that it'll be good because I'll be able to get out and play live here, as restrictions is. It's really good.
Yeah. Can we get into it and talk about the new LP
sure.
and all the good stuff?
Yeah.
Because I want to start with a celebration, which is happy birthday. Your birthday is in about a week, right? And
Yeah.
that's what I want to know
That's
if
right,
you
my
released.
birthday.
Yeah, I want to know if you released "Run Baby Run" as a single. Some encouragement for you as you get a year older.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's right. I'm releasing Run Baby Run. Well, not so much because I'm getting a year older. It's
Yeah.
because I was actually supposed to release Run Baby Run a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
But my birthday's just good day as any, I guess. That's kind of funny, actually. Yeah.
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 Your self-titled LP was preceded by an EP, "Love Makes the World," that was released in October
Right.
2020. So I want to start there because I believe they're all connected. How did riding horses with your wife lead to the sound of that EP?
Okay. Well, first of all, the EP, that came out because I started to release my LP, and I was just going to say, with the EP, I was releasing my LP about a year ago, and then COVID, like we were just talking about, that kicked in, and the world, had this huge problem. Well, everyone was more worried about their health and their families, than my album coming out, and understandably,
Mm-hmm.
I was too, and they're worried about their jobs. People are worried about their work. And so for me, it was the same thing. I started thinking, well, why am I releasing my album when, people, rightfully so, are more worried about other things, important priorities in their life. And so in the meantime, I will have a farm, a fairly big farm that I also work on from time to time. I actually work on a farm. And I was working outdoors one day and I started thinking about it and thought, well, okay, I've got my LP, it's just sitting there. But I've also got these tracks that I'm happy with, these songs that I recorded, luckily, when I was recording my album. But I just didn't think they suited the album as well as other tracks did.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started thinking about that the lyrics on the EP were very much about empathy for other people and thinking about people in other countries. And then I started thinking, well, why don't I go back to the record company and see if they want to put the EP out? Because maybe the timing of those songs is actually better since there was so much fear and uncertainty in the world at that point. I thought, well, Love Makes the World, that's maybe that's good timing for that to come out. And I thought they wouldn't want to do it, but the label said, yeah, we want to do that. We'd like to put that out. And they thought it would be a great way to lead into what I'm doing with the LP. So that's why the EP came out. But what the question you asked about the cowboy part of it?
Yeah, the horses.
Right. That was all part of the same kind of thing that happened where, I started to re-record some older songs and newer songs, much newer songs that I'd written. and co-written with people. And because I wasn't happy with the quality of the recordings. Like, they were demos, and some of them were really rough, like really rough recordings. And some of them had been written on paper, and we hadn't even demoed them properly, And so I started thinking about it more, and I thought, well, I'll re-record these songs. Well, as it went along, I started to re-record some of them in my home farm studio in Australia, and some of them I recorded in Nashville. And as I was recording in Nashville, my wife, Marlena, and I decided to take a horse riding trip down the Mexican border as a holiday thing. Well, it wasn't just a pony ride. It was like a serious adventure. We ended up riding horses for 6 hours a day with a kind of, a basic meal in between. And we rode for 6 days straight, 6 days in a row through this national monument area, a wilderness area, really, in the U.S. And I'd never seen anything quite like it before. It was the Chiricahua Mountains where Mexican border meets Arizona and New Mexico, right in the corner there. And we started riding horses all through these areas. Well, we found ourselves riding horses, and we started riding horses through that area. And even I remember we were riding through like stagecoach routes. Where you literally could still see where the stagecoaches had gone. And I'm not talking four-wheel drive, off-road sort of modern vehicles. Like, you could tell that no one had driven a vehicle of any modern sort through this, ever. And that was really interesting for me. And I began to realize in old abandoned silver mines and then the history of the area with the Apache Indians, the cowboys up the road in Tombstone, the U.S. cavalry, and we rode our horses through all these really interesting areas, and including the abandoned U.S. cavalry forts. And I know that where Geronimo surrendered, the place he surrendered to the cavalry, and then we rode our horses right up the top of Cochise's stronghold, and that was really amazing because we were able to. The four of us were. Because an old wrangler guy called Craig Lawson, a cowboy guy, and his wife Tam had gone with my wife and I and showed us. He was educating me on this whole area. I didn't realize the tumultuous history of the area. And when I finally, came back to Nashville, just to answer your question, I know it's a bit long way around, but when I got back to Nashville, well, I know because of my work with INXS for all those years and writing hits and chart hits and all that stuff, whether it's rock or pop or blues or, funk or hip hop, whatever you're trying to do, everyone wants country music. Everyone wants a chart hit, right? That's just the way it works. Right. So when I got back to Nashville, I get in the room, it's kind of a bit funny and a little strange where, girls and guys would go, what do you want to write about? And I'd be like, I'd really like to write about kind of the Wild West. And they're like, oh, and they're already thinking, oh, that's not going to be a chart hit. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, that's just what I want to do, and I'm really glad I stuck to my guns, if you pardon the expression. And because, what happened next was I began to realize that, the more I began to think about it, and if you stop and think about it, the beginnings of country music came from exactly that piece of history, where in Australia, I guess, so you had Australiana, you had Americana, you had a Canadiana, if you pardon me, and, the meetings of all these different cultures, with indigenous people and European instruments they were bringing with them, a violin in the classical sense turned into a fiddle, and then you'd have, a drum and a guitar would turn into a banjo later on, and then suddenly upright pianos, and that was the formation of early folk music turned into country music, and then here we are here today, and I couldn't help but think that those rootsy kind of, that period of history to me suddenly, not just in America, but in Canada and Australia, I suddenly went, I know how to make my album now. I know what I'm doing. And the EP tracks were kind of part of that journey for me, in a way.
Yeah, and so this is what I want to get to, because you alluded to, obviously, to your time in INXS, where you and Michael Hutchence were the primary songwriters. And to highlight a couple of quick examples, like a large chunk of Kick was written in Hong Kong. some of Elegantly Wasted was written in London, and now you're talking about like this kind of Americana culture, and you're out in this kind of like deserty landscape, cowboys and Indians and all this kind of stuff. Like, are you influenced at all by location when you write, or is it by the location's culture?
That's a really interesting question. I'm influenced by both. I always have been. With INXS, we had a huge international experience. We worked in 52 countries. Would you believe it?
That's crazy.
And yeah, it was literally, yeah, man, it was literally crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I was going to say that we also, I lived in Europe for almost 5 years. Two of my three children were born in Europe, and we recorded a lot in other countries. We recorded in Europe, in England, and Spain, Italy. We recorded in Vancouver. We were Elegantly Wasted. Most of that was was recorded in Vancouver, and we recorded in Sydney. We recorded in the US. And even a little bit in Japan and stuff. And you mentioned Hong Kong, West China. So INXS was very much like that. And I think, all the traveling we did, I think you could probably say that a lot of my inspiration for my album has come from these travel log experiences. The world's a very interesting place,
Yeah. I think now with COVID, we realized it really is like how small it is, because this is something that's affected everyone, right?
Exactly.
Everyone's now your neighbor.
Yeah, well, okay, can I borrow some sugar off you?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. There you go. Exactly. You mentioned that like you're focused on the like classic cowboys and outlaws in terms of when you talk about country.
Right.
And in track 7, it's a fantastic song called Apache Pass. You're talking about Geronimo, which is, I don't know why we do this, but it's something that we yell out when we were taking a large leap. So are you ready to yell out Geronimo as you take a leap to being like a front man and like a principal songwriter? Because in the videos you've released now, you're the front and center guy, right? There's no more Michael Hutchence. There's no more like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't hide in the corner anymore behind keyboards.
No, I got to run, baby, run. No, look, it's too late. Yeah. I've already done it. And it's interesting because Marlena's grandpa used to call me Geronimo.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, it's kind of strange, huh? But yeah, it was interesting too, because I don't know how to explain this, but you've probably had moments in your life where you've been standing there and something's happening in real time, and you say that this is really bizarre. Like, I feel like I'm supposed to be here and doing this. Mm-hmm. Well, all I can say is right now I feel like I'm in a good place, and I feel like I'm supposed to be here and I'm supposed to be doing this.
That's a good feeling. And what about like songwriting? Is that still a mystery for you? Kind of like trying to grasp a belly dancer that's always just right out of reach? Or do you have a handle on this like really unique creative process?
Yeah, well, I'm talking to you, and my wife's sitting next to me, and she's sort of saying hi and smiling. Well, she can hear this thing about a belly dancer. All I can say is if you're gonna go hugging belly dancers, man, you gotta be quick.
Yes, I know.
Right?
Yeah, you gotta get in and get out. Don't get in trouble with the wife.
Yeah, but I'm laughing here now. So,
so you are hoping then now that COVID is a little bit under control or less critical, I guess, to do a couple of shows in April and May?
Yes. Well, at the moment, that's right. I'm doing a solo tour as Andrew Farriss in April and May in Australia, and then I'm probably going to work out next where. Yeah, this is the problem we all have. I'm trying to work out where I can go next. I mean, my wife's originally from Dayton, Ohio, in the U.S., and she desperately wants to get home to see her family and our friends over there in the U.S. and other places too, Canada too. But I wish I'd come and play there, man. It's all really frustrating, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can imagine. Well, thank you. The LP is out on March 19, and the EP is already out.
Right.
It's been out since the EP's Love Makes the World, and that's been out since October 2nd. And hopefully you will be able to tour. But in the meantime, I assume you'll be releasing some more videos as well, right? You've already got 2 videos out.
Yeah, look, I got a bunch of videos out. If anyone wants to check out my YouTube channel, I got a YouTube channel. You can go see what I'm doing on that. And I think you'll get a laugh out of some of the videos. Some of them are like got a cowboy theme running through them. The ones you got to check out the video for Run Baby Run. It's and then also the other thing is we recorded a live concert during lockdown in Sydney, because we couldn't play to a live audience, and so we recorded this live concert thing in a studio. Well, you should check out the link to that, because then that'll give folks some idea what I'm doing live.
There you go.
And that's only half of the concert. There's about 8 tracks or something in that section of it, which is mainly around the EP release. But there's a whole other 8 or 9 tracks that we tracked during that concert that we're doing post-production on the visual of it at the moment. The visual aspect of it, and it should be ready pretty soon, and it should be coming out soon as well.
Okay, that's cool. There's a lot of cool stuff coming out. That's amazing. Thank you so much for hanging out and talking about Outlaws and Geronimo and the LP and the EP. And also just high five. I know you get this all the time, but thank you so much for the music INXS and for all the work that you guys did. Those were some fantastic times.
Yeah, you're welcome, and I'll high five you right back, man. You be careful over there, all right? We'll talk soon.
Talk soon. Later. Yo, that was Andrew Farriss from INXS, now releasing solo music. I am Sammy Younan, still releasing podcasts, I guess. Anyways, Andrew is off to a great start with these 2 country projects, the EP, Love Makes the World, and the self-titled LP. Pre-Rick Rubin Johnny Cash is about as country as I can get, though I've been to Nashville twice. Great town. From the EP, one of the songs he released was Brother. Now, while 2 of Andrew's brothers played in INXS, it's easy to see it's a song mourning Michael Hutchence. Single tear. Ever since his death, we've all been stuck in a moment we can't get out of. While another song on the EP, All the Stars Are Mine, sounds so much like an INXS song. I wasn't emotionally ready to go back to that sound. As for the LP, though there's I guess some country slide guitar, that classic sound, there's some solid writing on this. Lots of outlaws. Apache passes about Geronimo and Cochise, all that ruckus. It is a solid tune. It's my favorite on this album. Track 3 is with the Kelly Gang, an Australian Billy the Kid type. I don't know any Australian outlaws. I know there was an Australian movie called True History of the Kelly Gang. It played at TIFF in 2019, I think. I'll should Google it, but I'm pretty sure it's 2019. That's the first time I heard about the Kelly Gang. Never saw the movie, though. This self-titled LP has lots of fantastic and inspired songwriting. If you want to talk to me about Outlaws or INXS, reach out. I'm My Pal Sammy and My Summer Lair. My Pal Sammy and My Summer Lair for all 3, IG, Facebook, and Twitter. Thanks for listening to me in a Netflix world. Outlaws, yo.
I could almost see a ghost train to Douglas, winding its way through rolling hills. I could almost smell the smoke from the fires as wagons burned and blue coats all were killed. And we rode our horses through Apache Pass, felt the spirit of old Geronimo. Could almost see the arrows flying and hear the rifles firing. Apache Pass is still their home. We walked around and saw the ruins of Fort Bowie, read the tombstone standing by the creek. A chill ran through our bones from the cry of the silence. 2 black hawks circling over me. And we rode our horses through Apache just like the outlaws long ago. Too bad Cochise ain't living any longer. He chased them all right back to Mexico. And we rode our horses through Apache Pass, felt the spirit of old Geronimo. Could almost see the arrows flying and hear the rifles firing. Apache Pass is still their home. Apache Pass is still their home.